So in 1990, the water come through, and I'll pass that around. That's what they had to deal with. I was an apprentice at the time. I was at the coast on the grog. Didn't even know what was going on until Sunday. I was 18 years old, and every flood that happens here on the way. So 1.72. So those guys never had any insurance. So yeah, what happened here in 1990 was probably the groundbreaking about how things have moved so much. Yeah, we always talked about. I think we talked about the mud army in Brisbane, but yeah, it was. Fortunately, I always say that we had the mud army. But in 2010, we come to this height, so that's where it lapped. Yeah, no matter what you do, we had black plastic, you do anything. Just put everything up as quick as you can. As I said, it takes you two hours to get everything out, but it takes you 2 days to put everything back. November last year, we had 180 mils in an hour and a half up the top end where the gully diversion, where the gully catchment starts. It's about 30k out on the Morven Road. So that peak was 1/2 metre higher at the gauge. So what we're surmising is that if we hadn't had that gully diversion, I would have had a metre on, at least that.
The mitigation of the Bradley's gully diversion and also the levee bank has prevented flooding in this community. But what we are now seeing is that is not being reflected in insurance pricing of premiums. So it's caused a lot of concern amongst communities right across Southwest and also lots of places in Queensland. So we facilitated this roundtable because in a situation like Charleville, Roma, the state government has taken the risk by putting the mitigation in place, and also the councils are taking the risk as well. So we want to see that risk reduction reflected in premiums.
There are many factors that go into the price of insurance. Flood, or the risk of flood, is just one of those factors. Things like the cost of building materials and labour, general inflation in the Australian economy at the moment, and international costs like the cost of reinsurance, which insurers buy globally, all factor into the cost of your premium.
We've seen places like Thargomindah that are looking to what they might be able to do to mitigate flood in their community. So we want to make sure that when we put that taxpayers' investment into those particular mitigations, that we actually are driving down that cost of insurance for those communities. We also are going to come back in 6 weeks' time. We'll have a working group to look at particularly the mapping and what gaps there might be in the mapping, because we're told by insurers the mapping hasn't been updated since 2014. So that's nearly 10 years ago. So we really want to look very closely at how we can facilitate councils getting that mapping information into those databases.
For both sides of this, government and insurance, to fix a problem, you've got to identify it. And I believe that the last couple of days we have moved forward greatly in that space.